Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. I bid to my fellow interviewer and our guest for today. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Azriana Naziha. I am 20 years old. I am from Sandakan, Sabah and currently studying in Diploma in English Communication at College Professional Mara in Ramakota.
Hi, good evening, Jennifer. My name is Nur ATASHA binti Abu Bakar, but you can call me ATASHA. I am 20 years old. I am from Kluang, Johor. I also taking the same course as Azriana, which is Diploma in English Communication at KPM Indra Mahkota. So, welcome to our interview session for our subject COM2903, Pragmatics in Intercultural Communication.
Okay, now let me briefly share with you about pragmatic. Pragmatic refers to how we interpret and use language in social situations. It covers not only our spoken words, but also our facial expression and our gestures. In today's world, pragmatic play a vital role in expressing our emotion and thoughts. Now, my friend will continue by discussing intercultural communication.
So, intercultural communication is when we talk or interact with people from other cultures using both words and body language. It's really important because it helps us get along with each other and succeed in today's diverse world.
Okay, so we have done with introducing about our course. Now, Jennifer, can you please introduce yourself?
Okay, hi. My name is Jennifer Joseph. I am 20 years old and now I'm currently waiting for my degree.
Okay, that's great. Can you tell us more about your family background?
Okay, so I come from a multiracial races, which is my mother is Kadazandusun and my father is Indian.
Hmm.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you for sharing the information with us, Jennifer. So, the first question is, how would you describe the concept of intercultural communication?
Well, as for me, I do describe intercultural communication is when people from different cultural backgrounds communicate and interact with each other. That's all.
Okay, that's for the first question. Thank you so much. Okay, for the next question, could you tell us about an aspect of Kadazan culture and how it differently from other cultures?
So, as for me, I do think that one key aspect of Kadazan culture is that we have a Kaamatan festival or known as
Mm.
Harvest Festival. So basically, it's just not a celebration, it's spiritual, which is a time to thank the rice spirit for a good harvest. So basically, we give thanks to the rice spirit, or called as Bambazon,
Mm.
through rituals, music, traditional food, and the Sumazao dance.
Mm.
So, unlike many modern celebrations that focus on materialism, Kamatan is rooted in gratitude, unity, and ancestral respect. So, that's something unique about Kadazandusun.
Okay, that's very interesting. And let's move on to the next question. Have you ever seen or experienced a time where mispronunciations of Kadazan words or phrases by non-native speakers have led to the misunderstandings or conflicts in communication?
Well, absolutely. And one word that comes to my mind is boo. So in Kadazandusun, boo means turtle when set in a neutral soft tone, like boo, boo. But when someone says it with a sharp or sarcastic tone, like boo, it can sound like you're shaming or insulting someone. So in our culture, tone isn't just about expression. It can change the whole meaning of a word. Yes.
Oh, so we need to be careful with our tone when talking to
Yes.
Kadazan Dusun people. Oh,
Yes.
okay. So let's move to the next question. When people from your culture need to say something sensitive or potentially negative, do they tend to be very direct or they often use more indirect ways of speaking to the people? to be polite or avoid upsetting someone?
So, Kadazandusun culture values harmony. So, we tend to use indirect speech, especially when it comes to criticism or emotional topics. We're not the type to say things bluntly. Instead, we use respectful language or suggesting gently. It's our way of preserving relationship without causing any conflicts.
Okay. Okay, as for you, as a member of Kadazan, how did you adjust your tone of communication when interacting with friends from other cultures?
So I adapt based on who I'm talking to. I
Mm.
try to speak more clearly and directly when talking to friends from other culture, especially if they are more straightforward in their communication style. I also try to avoid using local slang or terms that they might not understand.
Oh, I really love about how you explain about the Kadazandusun. So now let's move to the about your own point of view. I have a question. Are there any specific incident experienced by you where Kadazan gestures are misunderstood by your friends who are not Kadazan?
Well, um, yes. For example, in my hometown, my mother's family side, we usually maintaining eye contact when we're talking to each other because it shows respect and attention when someone is speaking. But at the same time, if someone who are not Kadazan talk to us and we maintain the eye contact, sorry, it can be seen as rude. So they may assume that strong eye contact means we want to argue, but in our context, it's about balance, which is looking at someone to show that you're listening.
I really love your explanation. Thank you so much. So, for the next question, are there any people from other cultures ask you about the topics that are considered taboo or sensitive in verbal communication among the Kadazans?
Unfortunately, yes. And sometimes people ask personal question about our spiritual belief or traditional rituals, which I think it was sensitive topics since some of these topics are considered sacred and we usually don't talk about them usually with outsiders. It's not that we're being secretive, but it's about respect and it's about spiritual sensitivity. Yes.
Oh. So, if you could teach others about one thing that relating to Kadazan communication, what would it be?
As for me, I will teach them about the importance of respect in our communication. Whether speaking to elders or peers, we always try to be polite and humble. And it's also important to understand that silence is not always bad. It can mean respect or deep thought.
Oh.
Mm.
Yes.
So, polite is very important, right? Okay.
Yes.
Hmm. Okay, next question. Should people from other cultures avoid doing or saying when talking with Kadazan ethnic?
I think what other culture need to avoid is that they need to avoid mocking our language, even as a joke. Also, don't interrupt elders or speak too casually in formal or cultural setting. As for me, respect is the backbone of our communication, and when people overlook that, it can come off as rude, even if they didn't mean to.
Oh. Okay, so for the last question, what method that you use to resolve a misunderstanding problem about verbal or non-verbal communication between your friends from other culture, which is your friends that is not Kadazandusun?
Well, I usually try to stay calm and explain the misunderstanding in a simple and friendly way. And I also try to understand their side and find a middle ground. Sometimes using examples or body language helps to make things clearer.
Hmm.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for taking the time to join us into the fact-checking interview. Your thoughts really help us understand the problems that can happen in intercultural communication, especially when people from different backgrounds misunderstand each other through both words and body language.
Yes, that's right, Atasha. This
Yes.
kind of understanding can cause confusion or even conflict between individuals from different cultures. That's why it's important for everyone to be more aware, open-minded, and respectful when communicating with others, no matter where they come from.
Okay, I absolutely um,
Okay.
agree with that. Okay, all right. Thank you so much for your time and goodbye.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Welcome.